Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Hi, I'm Speeder. Okay, welcome back. I feel like I say that too much. So, I have just completed watching Captain America and the Winter Soldier once again. And I'm ready to do a review on it today. This should be posted about 2.5 weeks from now. At this point, school have started, all that, you know. Captain America the Winter Soldier is one of my favorite Marvel films. It is lacking in only really two categories, and I think the rest of it is great. If it's not 5 out of 5, it's 4 out of 5. There are only two categories that it is slightly lacking in, which doesn't make it a 45 out of 45 film or anything like that. Okay. Math. So let's just get into it, I guess. This video will contain spoilers for Captain America the Winter Soldier, and it may contain minor spoilers for Thor the Dark World, the Avengers, Captain America the First Avenger, Thor, Iron Man 3, I forgot to mention that, Iron Man 3, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 1. And I will try to avoid spoilers for any future films. I'll try my best to not do that. So, yeah. Let's just get into it. Okay, so if you have not seen one of these review videos of mine before, basically this is how it works. So there are 9 categories that I go over and rank from 1 to 5, and like I rate it from 1 to 5. So if it is like really, really bad, or like it just I don't like it, that kind of thing, that's not the way to put it. It's just, it really sucks. If something super sucks, the category just sucks, or lack of content in a category, then it gets a 1 out of 5. So if there's no content of this nature in the film, then it gets that. 2 out of 5 is, this is pretty bad, but it could be worse. And there is content for it, but it could be a lot better. 3 out of 5 is the kind of in the middle thing, being 3. It could be a lot worse, but it could still be quite a bit better as well. So it's just kind of that in between. 4 out of 5 is kind of the, how should I put it? It's really, really good. Well, it's really good, and it could be a ton worse, but it could also be slightly better. And then 5 is like, this is amazing. I love this. This is beautiful. Thank you for giving me this. This is wonderful. It's basically near perfection or perfection. A certain concept. Then I add up all of the scores for the 9 categories, and do it out of 45, since it's 1 through 5 with 9 categories. So the 9 categories that I go over for a non-team-up film, which I count team-up films as Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. However, Captain America Civil War is a weird one, since it's not a team-up film, but it's not a solo film, so I'm going to be slightly changing it up. From both it will still have 9 categories, but it will be slightly different from the solo films and the team-up films, because it's one of those weird ones. So yeah, anyways, the 9 categories are story, action, main character, as in, I was the main character in this specific film, villain, character arcs or character development, or just arcs in the story, like plot twists and stuff, humor, yes moments, which is basically like moments that give you goosebumps and are like super intense and stuff, death scenes, it's not really a Marvel movie if it doesn't have one emotional death scene, right? And side characters. So, in other words, everybody except for the main character. So, yeah. Let's just get into it. So, first of all, we have the story of Captain America the Winter Soldier. This one I give a 5 out of 5. This one has a brilliant story. I've kind of realized that I'm judging it on 3 different things, really. One is like the, how enjoyable is it while you're watching the film, the story? How enjoyable is the story while you're watching the film? 2, how much does it affect the rest of the MCU? And 3, gosh, focus please. Thank you, okay. And 3 is how many plot twists and potential cliffhangers are there. So yeah, this one definitely gets a 5 out of 5 for all 3. There are a lot of plot twists. It very much has an effect on the MCU, and it is very enjoyable to watch just while watching the individual film. So, yeah. You have the... God, what's the word? Yep. The reveal that Hydra has been growing like a parasite in S.H.I.E.L.D. ever since S.H.I.E.L.D. began. It's always been there. It's just an infection that spread all throughout S.H.I.E.L.D. Not everybody's a part of Hydra, but a lot of people are. So you have that gigantic discovery. You have the discovery that the Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark and his wife. Which you can see in when they talk to Azola's mind in the army base. And let's see. You also have... You think Nick Fury is dead, but he's not. He's really alive. What a surprise, right? It's the MCU. They also have the fact that Bucky is alive, which I think for a lot of first-time viewers that might have been a plot twist. I'm not sure. I haven't read the comics, so I don't actually know a lot about the Marvel comics. I know. I've never been a huge comic person, so bear with me on that one. But anyways, you have a lot of plot twists, reveals, everything. And never really knowing who you can trust and stuff. And so I think that makes for a really good story. So yeah, story, 5 out of 5. Alright, let's move on to action. This is a great film for action. Not like the Avengers versus an army of faceless monsters. But in this situation, it is Cap and Natasha and even Falcon against mostly individual people, or a group of individual people, who sometimes they're faceless, but I don't know, it just feels a little bit more real that way, and so it's like they're literally spies, so they're going on spy missions, and that is great. So, some action sequences that you got in this film is the boat sequence at the beginning, where Cap and Natasha and some Hydra/S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, sorry, I guess I should say some S.H.I.E.L.D./Hydra agents, drop down onto a boat full of mercenaries and rescue some hostages. And that was a great fight scene, especially when Cap faces off against that mercenary, that singular mercenary who was a little bit more of a challenge for him. I don't remember his name. But yeah, that was a great fight scene, I have to say. Not one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites. It's not my favorite in the film, though. Then you have the iconic and excellent elevator scene, plus Nick Fury and the road scene where he fights off a bunch of people when he is discovering that that S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised and stuff is going down, basically. But yeah, the elevator scene is probably my favorite fight scene in this film, and it is done very well. It may not be my favorite, actually. It may be my second favorite, but it is a iconic scene. It's really good, and it's just always a joy to watch every time. And then you have Winter Soldier and Cap's first fight, aka Bucky and Steve's first fight, which was done very well, and that might be my favorite fight scene in the film. I think it was done excellently, I guess. It was done very well. And just some like hand-to-hand combat and all the effects and things. I think it was done very well, as I said. I really need like a thesaurus or something for very well. It was done great, spectacularly. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, you also have when they take down the helicarriers, as well as also in that sequence kind of was Steve and Bucky's last fight in the film, their second and last fight in the film, which I think was also done very well, and it was very intense. You're like, what's going to happen? It's also yeah, I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, action gets a 5 out of 5, just like story. Okay, let's move on to the main character. Steve is kind of the steady one in the team. He's the steady hand, keeping them together. He's the glue of the group. Basically, he's the leader. And so he doesn't change a lot from First Avenger, because, you know, he's the steady one. And so I feel I made a mistake in my First Avenger review video with saying that there were, like, no character arcs. I probably should have put it at 5 out of 5, because Steve really is the steady one. He's not supposed to change too much, or else it would kind of throw people off. He's the steady hand, like I said. But the main Steve in this film is great. I love Steve. He may not be my favorite Avenger. I might have to do a video on that later on or something. I don't know. But he's definitely one of my favorites. There really are. Let's see. There are 4 Avengers that I really like of the original 6, and 2 that I'm just like, either they're kind of there or I just dislike them. And those are the ones I truly do love are Thor, but mostly Ragnarok Thor, which I'll get to in a later video. It was great. Tony, especially Tony after his first two films. Black Widow, aka Natasha, she's great. And then Cap. But Hawkeye or Clint and Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, I don't really know Hawkeye that well, even after some of the films later on. And so, and then Bruce Banner, unpopular opinion, I think that the Incredible Hulk version of Bruce Banner was better than the Avengers and rest of the MCU version of Bruce Banner. I just think he portrayed him better, even though I highly dislike the film. I do much prefer that actor, and I honestly didn't recognize Bruce when I watched the Avengers and he came into play. I was like, who the frick is this? And I only realized it when he became the Hulk, because he was so different. It was insane. It just never clicked in my mind until that happened, and I was like, oh, he's the Hulk. I was like, who is this strange actor? Because he's completely different. And so, yeah. But anyways, back to Cap. Went on a bit of a tangent there. I especially like him in this film. I like him in the later films, but I think this is my favorite version of Cap. I don't know. He's more like a spyish kind than in this film than a soldier kind in this film. And also he's trying to get Bucky back, which is nice. So I don't know. So yeah, main character 5 out of 5. Cap is awesome. Okay, let's go to villain. I give villain a 4 out of 5 for a singular reason, and I'm sorry if you highly disagree with this reason or something. I don't know, but this is just my personal opinion. You can have your own opinion. But it's kind of unclear who the villain is through a lot of it, which is why I give it a 4 out of 5, by the way. Villain is 4 out of 5. Because at first you think, oh, it's obviously the Winter Soldier, but in truth it's Alexander Pierce, and Hydra, which I think is great, but even at the end, like, who was the villain of this specific film? I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at this or something, but also Alexander Pierce, even though he has a lot of power, like in the government and stuff, and with Hydra, he's not at all a physical threat whatsoever. And so I don't know. I'm bad at villains. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Just yeah. Okay. Character arcs. This film, so character arcs, I slightly changed it, just a little bit, but it's still pretty much the same thing. It's character arcs and character development, as well as any twists in a story that affect specific characters, and change specific characters. So especially in this film, that happens a lot. With Hydra being revealed, a lot of characters who you believed were good turned bad immediately. And I don't know, there's a lot of twists in this film, and so I think that also the fact that Cap is still his steady self even through this for the most part, I think I should give character arcs a 5 out of 5 still, because he's still a steady self and there's still a lot of twists in the film itself. So yeah. Okay, humor. Another 5 out of 5. Humor of this film is great, especially Cap and Natasha. Their dynamic is wonderful and very hilarious. And so even though this was supposed to be kind of a little bit more of a serious film, they still managed to make it really funny. And so I think that really shows how good. It's also the Russo brothers. Come on. They're the best. But anyways, okay. So yeah, even though it was supposed to be a serious film, they still managed to put a lot of humor into it, and so I think they did really well with that. So you're a 5 out of 5. Next is those yes moments, those moments that give you goosebumps. They just, I've already explained them. So I actually give this one a 3 out of 5. Because even though there's a ton of action in this film, there are only 2 times where I ever got goosebumps. Any time that I watched it. Which is mildly disappointing. And that this is one of the 2 things that could have been better. It's one of the 2 sections. And those are, first of all, the elevator scene. I always get goosebumps when I watch that. And then the time when Steve, says the line "with you to the end of the line" thing. So yeah, I think that the ice moments could have been a little bit better, but I think that they were still really good. So 3 out of 5. Next is death scenes. There are no death scenes in this film of characters that we know at all. So I give it a 1 out of 5 because, just hear me out, lack of content. As I said at the beginning, if there's lack of content, it automatically gets a 1 out of 5 because, like I said, it's not really a Marvel film if it doesn't have a singular death scene. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But, okay, we're just going to move on from that and go to side characters, which I give a 5 out of 5. Natasha, amazing. Falcon, great. Fury, awesome. Hill, cool. All of them, great side characters. Hydra agents, they're Hydra, so they're meant to be but, before they're revealed they're Hydra, they're still great. So, yeah, I think the side characters in this film were awesome, especially Natasha. She's always great. So, yeah, 5 out of 5 on side characters. So this totals up to 39 out of 45, which is actually tied for first place. Further proving that Captain America films are the best ones, because it's tied with First Avenger. So, yeah. So right now that is tied for first place with First Avenger. So we'll see if any top it, which I'm pretty sure they probably will. Because even though this is one of my favorites, it isn't my all-time favorite. So, yeah, we'll see where this goes. So that is my review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.